This shows you some of the crumbling. This is Golgotha that you're looking at here, because Golgotha, the traditional site, they say that's Golgotha, and the Garden Tomb are all right there in close proximity. So this is that area. Might stretch that out a little bit for you to see a little more of what that looks like, the rock formation. And so that takes us on. There's another shot from it, which would have been Golgotha, the place they say that Jesus was crucified. Here's the Garden Tomb. You can see they maintain it pretty good, and you can see some of that area that they keep up. They were doing some construction while we were there this time on it, so you kind of walk around there in a semicircle, and this brings us back to see now. You can see in the background there, so to speak, that archway there. This would have been the Garden Tomb. They say that is there where Jesus was buried. You're now inside it. This is one of the ceiling and two walls in the corner we're looking at there. There's where Jesus would have been buried. They tell us. The thing I found when I went in there, if that was where he was buried, I didn't find him. He's gone. This is some more of that area of Golgotha, the Garden Tomb, the wine press. There's a wine press. We were leaving the Garden Tomb area. At this time, you'll see there a sign, if I can pull it up. Jesus Christ, declared with power to be the Son of God by the resurrection from the dead. I say amen. Here's some more of it. Here's our guide. This is Eli Shukran. On the wall behind, you'll see some of the things that Eli, as an archaeologist, has found. This thing of half shekel. I don't know if you can see all that. It gives you a little bit of information about it. It goes back to the destruction of the temple in 67. They say the common era is given as a donation to the upkeep of the temple. To that right there, the golden bell, they say this could have been, Eddie even says this, it could have been the golden bell that would have been on the bottom of the high priest's garment when he would be in the Holy of Holies offering up a sacrifice to make a noise, so that if he quit making a noise, they suspected God had killed him. And so this was part of his dress. And there's some other things there that we can't get a good view of. But then the thing about Eddie, and we're getting ready here to go down under Mount Zion, David's palace, and we'll see some things here, and I'll have to move kind of quickly, but this is some of the living area on the slopes of Mount Zion, and we're going down now to see, and I'm taking some pictures across the valley there, and you'll see all this housing in the background there on the side of that mountain where the people live. There's some more shops of housing, various buildings, and these are some of the areas that we'll see later. Hopefully I'll have time here to take you on down through there. Let me see. Let's start right here for a minute and see what this does. Okay. You've read in the scriptures, no doubt, about how water was tunneled and the different things when Hezekiah dug a tunnel. This is how they captured Jerusalem during Hezekiah's day. Now, this site right here is down under Jerusalem, or down under Mount Zion, David's palace, where he would have lived. And when you look at this is part right here of an olive press. And they had to have the olive oil for the anointing of the priest. That's another shot of it right there. Now, down under there. And we're way down under. I'm talking these pictures, we're way down under the ground. Okay? This rock, they say, they believe, and they teach, when Jacob left and came up through Mount Moriah, he stopped here. This is the night he had the vision of the ladder, and he saw the angels descending and ascending, all that, and he set up a rock. And he said, truly, this is the gate to heaven. Mount Moriah, where we're looking at, which is part of Mount Zion there. There are all three mountains there, Mount Moriah, Mount Zion, and the Mount of Olives. So they got there. Eli is the only guy that's got a key to open that up for you to see in there. Now, where it's the rock or not, I don't know. But the archaeologists and everybody that's there, the way it's been found, that's what they say about it. Look at it a little bit closer there. You remember when he took a rock and made him a pillow out of it? Here's some more of that underground, underneath of the rock formation. Here again, that opening right there, a door, was probably a place where they stored the various things in that day. Now, I'm taking you back with this. Here's some more of that. There's also a wine press here. That picture's not very good, neither is that one. But here's some of the wine press. And they had their wine in there as well. Here again, that's part of the wine press. And so these things were very important. And you can see how they have shored all that up with all these timbers and I-beams, steel I-beams. And again, look at that rock formation. So it takes you way back. Now, with these pictures, I'm going to hurry up. There's that stone again. There's some more of the rock formation. We're leaving now. We're going on down in the tunnel, down into this. But I want to say this. You remember in the Old Testament when Abraham and Melchizedek met? You remember the story? This is where they would have met. And see, all these cities have been built on top of each other. So Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek. This is the very area. Now this is real stuff here. This is real, where it would have happened. And we're getting ready here now to enter into the tunnel that goes down through there. And Warren was one of the fellows that kind of discovered Hezekiah's tunnel. And then that wasn't a very good picture. And you see how that would have been. I hope you're seeing. I may be moving too fast, talking too fast. But here, all of those things down underneath there. Look at those rocks. Amazing how they moved rock around in those days. And these things that took place here, we're coming on out now. We'll get us back into the tunnel area that we're going to go down into. Here we are in the tunnel. And it leads out. You can go through. You get here to this place right here. If you go to the right, you have to have waders on or expect just to get your feet wet up to about your waist, because it's a tunnel that the water ran through. And so there's some more of it. We're going on through that tunnel. And I mean, think about this. So here are people in that day that traveled through these, lived in these, sought security in these. And there is some more. I mean, it gets tight too. It's only about that wide, just tight enough to, I mean, you got to squeeze through there. Now, we're out of there. What we're seeing right here now, Eddie found this. This is where the pool of Siloam is. And when you read in the Bible, the pool of Siloam, of course, it's been covered up. It's been dug out. And some church body owns that, where all that growth is there, and they won't let them do any more digging. So, but that's the pool of Siloam out there that you see that he's found. And of course, look at it, it's nasty. but that's it. And there's another shot of it. Look at those old stones. See, that would have been there during Jesus' time, when he was on earth. Now, we're at the south end of the old city of Jerusalem. Well, you're going to see here in a moment, Ellie's talking to us about some things. Poor Sherry, she's given out there. But to our back from here is the old city wall. We're starting to see some of it now coming around. And here it is. You'll see, look in the middle there of the picture. See that what looks like an archway? You see what I'm talking about? And this would have been an entrance through the wall, and just inside of that would have been where the Temple Mount was, where the temple would have been. And so there's no telling how many trips Jesus made up these steps. Now look at something. See the steps going up, you'll see one that's real wide, and then another that's narrow. You see what I'm talking about? Huh? You with me? All right. What the Jewish people taught, you can't run up those steps. You can't get in a hurry. You got to move slowly. And their teaching is you do not hurriedly come to the Lord. You come slowly. That gives you time to think. There's another shot of it. That old boy right there is from Russia. He took all kinds of pictures. There's Ellie and I. And let me shut this down. But before I go any further, look at the difference in the rock formation through there. Shows you how it's been built on with different kind of rocks. So I will go now. Let me get back over here. And I want to go to right here. There's our guide, Ferris. He says he's a Christian, and I trust that he is. Now, we're up on the top of the Mount of Olives. Jesus spent a lot of time on the Mount of Olives. Behind us, across the top of the mountain, you go into Bethany. His friends, Lazarus and Mary and Martha, lived in Bethany across there. What this is a Jewish cemetery. And you see how how packed out that is. And those graves are in those vaulted, I call them caskets, but many Jewish people are there. So we're descending from the top of the Mount of Olives and going down. And again, here's some more of the graves. And that's important because Jews in their religion did not believe, and it was taught in the Old Testament economy, you were not to be close to a dead body because you became unclean. Now, look, if you will, right there, we're seeing inside the old city. Right there is the eastern gate. See it? Right there. Now, let me move on a little further here. Maybe. That's as far as I can go. But anyway, here's the thing. The Ottoman Turks, when they controlled Jerusalem, built put a cemetery in almost up against that wall of the old city, the eastern gate. Because the prophecy is that when Jesus comes back, he'll come through that gate. So their idea is if there's a cemetery there, he won't get close to a dead body. He won't get close to a grave. So he won't come through there. So they closed that eastern gate up. The Ottoman Sultan of the Ottoman Empire did all of that. Okay? All right, let me see what else I want to get there. It didn't go all the way through with me. Try this. There again is part of the old city. We're looking across. You'll see this is the Kedron right down under us there. And you'll see the dome a little bit to the left of center there, the dome of the mosque, the dome of the rock. And what I want you to see here, see the formation in the rock here. That's the southern part from the west or the east side of the old city of Jerusalem, which was added on. And then get a picture of this, if I can point it out. You're going to see the top of right here. See the top of that dark dome right there? That would have been Caiaphas' house. You remember Caiaphas, who was the high priest, and Annas. And so one of the places they took Jesus was to Caiaphas' house. Preacher, I've got to quit. I don't want to quit just yet, though. There's some more of the cemetery. The reason I want you to see this, right down under there where the grass starts versus that, is the Kedron. We get over here. See these trees? I've told you some things about the land of miracles. Come back here. See that tree? When Jesus was crucified, those olive trees in the Garden of Gethsemane went dormant. When Israel became a nation again, May 14, 1948, they started budding forth again. Look at those smaller limbs. If that don't excite your soul and heart, there's something the matter with you. Amen. And there's the eastern gate. I'm sitting or standing pretty close to the church of the nations. Now, what they would have done, and we saw it there a moment ago. There's a little better picture of it. You'll see the dome of the mosque back there, dome of the rock. They arrested Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. They took him down across the Kedron. They took him over to Caiaphas' house. They did all kinds of things to him at Caiaphas' house. Let me go get Caiaphas here. I got him somewhere. Right there. Here's Caiaphas' house. And of course, it too is a memorial or a place where they take everybody. Now, here's what they would do. They brought Jesus first to Annas' house, then to Caiaphas, and they tried him there that night after they had arrested him in the Garden of Gethsemane. Sometimes this is called the Jesus prison at Caiaphas' house. They would have, after they beat him, they would have dropped him down inside there. They say that tradition says that most prisoners, they would lower them with a rope and they would pull them out with a rope. But it appears from what we learned that they just dropped Jesus after all the beating he'd been through. This is down inside that prison now. See it? I stood right here and wept like a baby because I was to do a devotion here. And I got to thinking about how they'd abused our Lord and let him down in, dropped him off down in there after all they'd done. Then they got him back out. There's another shot. Richard's 5A. Huh?
I don't know, my back about to kill me, so I don't know about them.
Okay.
But I got a bad back.
All right. Okay, there's some rocks at Jesus' steps that Jesus would actually walk on. Okay? Now, I'm going to take you to one more place and I'll quit. I won't be long, I promise. Let me find it here. Well, I said let me find it. Here we go. Now, see this? This extreme northern Israel, this place called Caesarea Philippi. At Caesarea Philippi, they have this drawing here that an artist put together of the worship that went on there. You see the building to the left, you see the patio platform in the center, and you see the building to the right. Here, legend has that it was the temple of Augustus, the grotto of the god Pan or Panas. It was the temple of Zeus, the court of Pan and the Nymphs, the court of the Nemesis, the tomb temple of the sacred goats. The god Pan was the goat god, and the dancing goats. Now, I want to show you something else. Here's the body of water. This is the headwaters of the Jordan River. Okay? What I want to quickly get to here, move past that, I want you to look at this. See these crevices in the rock? They had gods, idols, icons in all these. This is where they worship. They would worship these gods. Right here is what is known as the headwaters of the Jordan River in this place. And so here are some more shots of the rock. See that? How that is there? They would have had a god in there, an icon, an idol. Here's another place that would have been in there. This was the god Pan. See all those different things? They worshiped all kinds of idols. Even the Jewish people got caught up in it. Now, I want you to look at that right there. Now, what people did in that day is they would bring their children and they would offer them to the god Pan. And they had a fire in there. This is behind that building, the left building we saw. They would throw their children off into the fire and burn them up, offer them to the god Pan, the goat god. Okay? Now, Jesus was with his disciples. I want you to picture in your mind all these gods and all those creches. Jesus was with his disciples. He had his back to all these gods. He said to them, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" Some say you're John the Baptist, a preacher. Some say that you're one of the prophets, again. Some say you're Elias. Elias was a miracle worker. Some say that you're Jeremiah, a weeping prophet. And Jesus asked the question. They all told him what people were saying. And Jesus said to them, especially to Peter, "But whom do you say that I, the Son of Man, am?" Peter spoke up and said, "Thou art the Christ, Amen, the Son of the living God." Right. And Jesus said, "Flesh and blood hath not revealed this to thee, but my Father, right, which is in heaven." Amen. Amen. He went on to talk about it. He said, "And the gates of hell shall not prevail." He said, "Upon this rock I will build my church." What was the rock? It wasn't Peter, and it wasn't this rock, because he had his back turned to all of that. And he said, it's that testimony. Flesh and blood have not revealed this. Thou art the Christ. Christ is the very Son of God, the Savior of the world. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against the church of the living God. I want to tell you something, folks. We're on the winning side. Amen. We're winners with Jesus Christ and with him alone. And nobody can destroy the church of the living God. Amen. I trust that you know him. Amen. And you're walking with him. Amen. We're seeing our babies sacrificed to a God that does not exist today through abortion. We're burning our own babies, killing our own babies, because somebody said it's violation of my right. What about the right of that baby, if there is such a thing? But we don't have rights. We're born with a responsibility to say, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." Preacher, I'm sorry I went too long, but I couldn't help you. All right. I'm finished.
Anybody got any questions you want to ask him?
I'd like to know, when you showed the graveyard,
Yeah, at the Mount Olive.
was people not buried underground with those vaults on top of the ground? Or
Some of them are, yes. Yeah. Yeah. depends on who you go with. Most tours right now, 10-day tours, somewhere around $4,500, and you'll need another, depending on what you wanna do when you get there, you'll need another $400 or $500 to blow.
So it's like not a half a day tour, it's a 10-day tour.
10-day tour. Yeah, most of them are 10 days. And it's not all that bad, it's work. To me, the hardest part, going over there is coming back. You change your time zone has killed me, you know, but everybody's different.
Well, I know a man going over there in December, and last I checked, we still had a few spots available on the second bus for $3,400 was the cost of the tour.
Yeah.
That's with, Mark Trotter and Living Faith Ministry.
Uh-huh. There's some you gotta find, but in some of those as well, when you're looking at one, you need to look at your lodging, what kind of hotels you have, what, you know, they rate them 5-star, 4-star, whatever. Some of those you don't have meals with, but your hotel's the best place to eat the meals, cause I usually eat breakfast and a night meal, and I'll take a pack of cheese and soda, peanut butter cracker for lunch. But if you can go. This preacher here, y'all pick up a little money and send him.
I would love it.
Is Israel a commercial town now, or Jerusalem? Is it
Well, yeah, there's-
commercial, or?
Yeah, it's, most of it's tourist facilities or tourist sites to see, and there are a lot of restaurants there. Matter of fact, I had some pictures inside those cities, we don't have time to show them, and we stopped at a pizza place there, you know, one day. But Old City, see, it's divided into 4 sections. You got the Jewish section, you got the Christian section, you got the Armenian section, and the Arab section. 4 sections is divided into. I had a picture also that, I don't know how y'all feel about it, made me very proud. I stood there like this when I saw the sign of the embassy in the United States.
Yeah.
Thrilled my soul.
Amen.
Very interesting. All right, any more questions? We appreciate Brother Ed's coming, he and his wife. We'll keep praying for him. I really wish a lot of us could go over there. I think it really make a difference in what your perspective of the Bible is. You can go and see it. He's excited about it because he's been there, and you're not because you hadn't been. And it's not to mean anything bad about us, but he's been there and saw it. He's pumped. Me and you're looking at it through his eyes, and we're not seeing it like he did. So maybe stretch and try to go yourself. I believe it would really help in your study of the Bible too.
I'd like to go to the Valley of Megiddo, where the last great battle will take place with the nation, where the blood runs to the horse that rides.
Maybe we can do it again one time.
Okay.
All right, anybody else, real quick? Y'all know I don't tarry here now. All right, stand to your feet. Don't forget about Wednesday night service.